Hey, this is Samantha here from RecipeThis.com and the voice behind the popular Kitchen Gadgets podcast, Magic with Gadgets. Today I wanted to show you just how easy it is to make suet dumplings in the air fryer. Well, before we dive into this recipe, I just wanted to suggest that you head over to RecipeThis.com. We've got more than 1,200 kitchen gadget recipes, including recipes for the air fryer, instant pot, slow cooker, soup maker, bread maker, microwave, Ninja Foodie, and many others. We also have a free weekly newsletter, which you can find on the homepage of RecipeThis.com, or you can find it on RecipeThis.com/newsletter. And there you can get our best kitchen gadget recipes sent to your inbox every Friday morning. I love traditional suet dumplings using the box mix, and what I like to do is I like to mix it up a bit and make it a bit more flavoursome to how they are traditionally put together. So for example, I love to add cheese and some seasonings to them, and then what I will do is depending on how I want to serve them, I'll either air fry them or I'll throw them directly into the food pot. So you can also use this recipe for making them with, and then say place them in the slow cooker with your stew. You've got a little bit of grated cheese, and you've also got your 50 grams of suet. Or, you know, if you want to make these yourself and you don't know how much of the box of this you want to use, then no, the general rule is it's double the flour to the suet. So it's 50 grams of suet, 100 grams of self-raising flour. So it's just as simple as that for learning your measurements. And then I recommend you just have a cup of water like this one here that we've got, and then using this to combine them. So once you've got all your measurements ready, what I recommend you do is grab yourself a large bowl that you can use. This is my favourite large bowl. And then all you do, chuck in suet, chuck in flour, chuck in cheese, and then you've got your three main ingredients ready to go. And then salt, pepper, and then of course parsley. And then all we're really doing is making a dough from it. I recommend using a fork, it makes it easier. And then start by adding a little bit of water in, and then you can gradually combine. Just keep mixing it. Now we can lose the fork and start using our hands. The amount of water that you use will vary depending on how many you're making and how much your quantities are. And as you can see, it's coming together nicely, but still a little bit dry, so let's add a little bit more, shall we? And if you add too much, you can always adjust it with an extra bit of flour. Then push the edges of the bowl to get rid of any last bits, and you've now got your dough. So then what I recommend, a bit of flour on your worktop. Flour your hands as well, so then you won't have anything sticky to worry about. And then you have it. That's your suet dumpling mix. And then what you can do then is you can portion it up, and then it's ready for air frying. And the smaller you go, the more balls you'll make. Bigger, the less. That's not going to really make another two, unfortunately. But you've got 5 good sized ones there, and I'll just give it a clean up, the worktop and that, and then we can air fry them. So I've cleaned up the flour enough to be able to actually open the air fryer basket. And then the little dumplings are ready to go in. What I think's most interesting here though, that needs a mention, is that what I've done with here is I've done with the quantities that are on a packet of the suet. So if you were to use the box mix and do them yourself, that's how many it'd actually make. Whilst most of us are feeding a bigger family and are maybe wanting 3 on each plate, so you'll ideally be wanting to double this. I'm just showing you this as an example. And if you did double this, you'd be able to fit a few more in here as well. If you look, that's what 5 looks like in the air fryer. So of course you could fit some more in. So then once you've done that, we're ready to go in. We're looking for a cook time of 10 minutes and a temperature of 160 Celsius, that's 320 Fahrenheit, because this can make sure the middle of them are properly cooked and they're not too overdone on the outside. And then press start. And we've beat. So let me show you the dumplings, shall we? Wow, look at those. Perfectly cooked dumplings in the air fryer. And of course, we have this option where you can do them in the air fryer like this to make suet dumplings. Or we also have the option where you can actually make them and load them into your stew. So you could follow our recipe to the point of cooking them, and instead of loading them in the air fryer, you could use them in the slow cooker, and you could also cook them in the Ninja Foodie as well. There's so many options. And as I mentioned earlier, I used 1 packet mix of these and it made 5. So what I did whilst the air fryer was cooking was to make another batch, and this time I did 1.5 times and it brought back 7. So like I say, you can do more or less depending on what you want. We've added cheese and parsley to ours. You could add your favourite seasonings to yours as well. It's totally about personal choice. And if you don't like suet, I know not everybody's cup of tea, we also have a video and a recipe over at RecipeThis.com for air fried dumplings without suet, and that's using more of a scone style mixture, and it's just as delicious, and I recommend you check that out too. So these are the scones mixture made into dumplings without suet. And like I say, if you want to make a traditional American version, all you need to change of our recipe is to swap the milk for buttermilk, and then you actually got perfect American ones. And they taste absolutely amazing too. It's just a great alternative. And you can mix and match ingredients. So if you're doing it with a chicken stew, then you could add tarragon to them instead if you wanted to. You could add dill if you're doing a fish dish. It's just totally up to you. And it's just a fantastic, easy recipe that you can cook in the air fryer. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the RecipeThis family. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest. We also have a weekly newsletter at RecipeThis.com/newsletter, where we share with you our latest kitchen gadget recipes, what we're cooking in the Milner kitchen, and so much more. As well as this, we recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then whenever we have a new video, you will be the first to know. And if you want to know about all our future videos, then I recommend you hit the bell for instant notifications. But even better, we now have a podcast. It's called Magic with Gadgets. Simply search Magic with Gadgets on your favourite podcast player and you'll find us there.